I left you with a question. I'm sorry, our break was short. It's because we started a couple minutes late, right? So then in the end, we ended a little late, and in order to get back to schedule, our break had to be smaller. Sorry. But I'm sure you guys got to do what you had to do, and we're almost done. And one thing that gets me really disappointed, it's because Denise was telling me that lots of you are not really here today. Come on, we're all in this together, like the song. We have to be here, come on. Anyway, jokes aside, we ended the previous class with an important question, right? The question was, what was the question? I'm kidding. Can a person in a different situation run an organization that fights for the rights of those who are different? So, can an able-bodied person represent an organization for the disabled? Can a man run an organization for the rights of women? Can, I don't know, a person from a nationality represent an organization that defends the rights of people from a different organization? What do you think? This is the question I left you with. And I want you guys to type in your answers. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to get your cell phone or, I don't know, your device to read this QR code. And I want you to type in your opinion. I am going to settle for 5 opinions. But write your honest opinion. Do you think an organization needs to be run by a person that holds the characteristics, the lifestyle of a person in that situation, or can you have, like we said, a man running an organization for women, an able-bodied running an organization for the disabled, you know? So I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to type in your answer, as long as you would want to write. Write your opinion on this issue. Do you think that George Daniels is correct? An able-bodied person cannot run an organization for the disabled? Should a disabled person represent their own? Or it doesn't feel to you like that? You think that, I don't know, it doesn't matter. What matters is the intentions you have. 2 minutes. I'll be quiet now. You see, I can do that. I'll be quiet, but I want to see some answers. Tell me if it's working, okay? Okay, Inês, I got your answer. No, representative is important. Yes, okay. Guys, it's okay, you can type either here or there. It's just that when you type in with the code, I can get to see all your answers. But feel free, either here or there, whatever works best for you guys. I'm going to remove the...
Sobre o Google, né, não? Que assim, tem gente, o Vinícius está aqui pedindo por favor, que Google um pouco, não está conseguindo.
É, não é porque eles tinham que digitar a resposta aqui, aí eles não devem estar conseguindo. Ah, tranquilo, é porque tem um sitezinho para a gente compartilhar. That's okay, Vinicius, you can type in the chat as well. If no one is able to do it, then I'm going just to use the chat. Okay?
Gabi, alguém que ela misturou o inglês
Okay.
com a company.
Okay. I'm going to remove the QR code. If you guys were not able to do it, then you're going to type in the chat? Or do you need an extra time? Are you still typing in? What do you tell me? I'm going to remove the QR code, okay? If you are typing, I'm going to wait for your response. Okay? Tira só o código, Henrique, da frente, para ver se a gente vai receber alguma resposta. Não, é um aplicativo que eles digitam e a gente visualiza a resposta aqui. Are you guys typing? Yes or no? Just so that I know where we stand. Yes or no? Just answer me with a yes or no on the chat. Are you typing? É o Padlet, Inês. Do you have QR code? Because I'm sure I can give you an address as well. Henry, aperta no código QR de novo. Faz assim, faz melhor. Tu tá vendo que em cima tem copiar link para a área de transferência? Vê se tu consegue copiar esse link no chat. Bem aí, em cima do código QR, aí. Vê se tu consegue colocar esse código no chat. É porque eu já tentei coisa pelo chat e às vezes eles não conseguem visualizar. Tu copiou? O link chegou para vocês, gente, no chat?
Aqui sim.
Sim? Para ti chegou?
Sim, chegou. A Gabi está pedindo ajuda minha. Você não está entendendo o que eu falo.
Tá, deixa eu dizer. Okay, I'm going to explain again, okay? We read a text about the disabled. And there is a president of an organization saying that he does not believe that a person that is able-bodied can represent the disabled. Okay? And then he mentions the same way a man cannot be the president for a women's right organization. He feels that disabled should run organization for the disabled. Women should run organizations for women. I am asking you, do you agree with this? Or do you think that any person with their heart in the right place should be able to represent a group of people? That's the question. I would like you guys to answer in English for me, okay? I am providing you with an address to share this answer through Padlet because we can see all your opinions together. But I feel like you guys are having difficulties, right? Because I haven't seen any answers on Padlet. This has never happened before, guys. Because if you can't type in, that's okay. We're going to move on to something else. But this is the question. Do you think people can be represented by people who are different from them? Or should equals represent equals? Could you get the link? The link should take you here. I can also share a QR code. But that's pretty much it. Okay, okay. Organization.
Should represent, that the organization believe the legislation
Okay. Okay, Gabi, we're getting your answer, okay? Thank you very much. I have one answer here that says simply yes. Come on. All this time and I got one yes? I want more than that. Yes, they should be represented by equals. I understand that this is what you're trying to say, but come on. I believe you guys are typing the answers. I'm waiting. Yeah? No, it's perfect, Denise. We have a bilingual mediator. Yes. Guys, come on. Gabi, great answer, okay? Guys, anyone else is answering? I'm kind of getting sad. I'm feeling embarrassed in front of my team because I always say, oh, thank you, I'm getting answers now. Woo-hoo! I want more. I want more. Come on, I have my heart set on 5. I have 2. One is a yes, but that's okay. I'll take that. I'll get what I'll receive what you guys gave me. Come on, where are the others? I'm going to read the one I have, right, while you guys are ending your typing. It says, I don't think that any person can represent a minority community, so representative is important. Very nice. So I see you guys agree with the idea that you should be represented by someone who is like you, who holds the same position as you, right? Like Indians should be represented by Indians. Disabled should be represented by the disabled, right? Anyone else? Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to hold this screen here. By the end of the class, I hope to see more answers, okay? But I'm going to go back to the slide so that we can move on, okay? Henrique, tu vai deixar essa tela aberta porque eles estão digitando. Vai ter mais. Mas tu volta lá para o PowerPoint, aí no final a gente volta aqui. You guys are typing, I'm sure. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to read the full text, okay, so that you can get the understanding. And then if you have any questions on the vocabulary or anything, go ahead. We can fend for ourselves. DPI head. President of the local chapter of Disabled Peoples International, George Daniel has said that his group will not allow able-bodied people to represent it in future. No organization dominated by able-bodied people can represent or speak for the disabled community, he said at a news conference held at DPI headquarters on Brighton Road, Port of Spain, yesterday. Daniel's comments echo those of representatives of other organizations. About 2 weeks ago, a group called the Consortium for the Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities declared itself the umbrella organization for the disabled community. Daniel said this group was made up of at least 10 separate organizations, but all were operated and managed by able-bodied people. He said this move was made without either consultation or sanctioning by any member of the disabled community. Daniel compared this with an organization established for women or women's rights, but run and controlled by men. This is basically what we're looking at, he said. Carlos Green, president of Persons Associated with Visual Impairment, used a personal experience to deliver his point. As a blind person, I was made to believe by the wider society that I could do nothing more than make baskets, he said. Through international organization run by a disabled person, I discovered that the blind are capable of much, much more. Merle Koza, president of Disabled Women's Network, supported Green, saying disabled people were the best to articulate the issues facing them. Who better to say this than the disabled persons themselves, she asked. Okay? I hope you guys can get a better understanding of the question. This is what we are discussing, is the fact that there is a controversy whether the people who are not disabled could or not represent the people who are disabled. Okay? Let's move on. Henrique, next. So connect the sentences below to the corresponding paragraphs in the previous text. Where do we see that Carlos Green says that people wanted him to believe that he couldn't do anything really important? Henrique, volta no texto. The paragraph that says this is paragraph, we have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? Paragraph there 10 and 11 when he says, so actually it's paragraph 10 when he says that as a blind person, I was made to believe by the wider society that I could do nothing more than make baskets. So paragraph 10 for that one. Volta na outra página, Henrique, a gente vai ficar indo e voltando. Henrique, volta na página para a gente depois voltar aqui. Ah, wow, that was perfect. Mas, não, volta lá no PowerPoint. Tem 3, hein? I'm missing 2. Ok. Volta na página do exercício aí, no próximo slide. There you go. Things that George Daniel said reflected what other organizations also believed. Volta no texto, Henrique, para a gente achar isso aí. Where is the paragraph? Let's count it. Daniel comments echo those of representatives of other organizations. So it's paragraph 1, 2, 3, right? Paragraph 3. Pro exercício de novo, Henrique. Volta para outro slide. There is a group that considers itself the main group for disabled people. Volta pro texto. This is the umbrella group, right? The one that established they were the umbrella group. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, right? About 2 weeks ago, a group called the Consortium for the Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities declared itself the umbrella organization for the disabled community. So it's paragraph 1, 2, 3, and 4. Paragraph 4. And the final one, Henrique, só mais uma vez, vai e volta. Só mais uma vez. Mercosa, oh, this is the last one, right? That's when the name appears. Mercosa questioned if any group is more capable of discussing disabled people's needs than disabled people themselves. This is the final thing on the text, right? Okay, Henry, next. Passa para frente agora. That's it. So we have paragraph 10, 3, 4, and paragraph 13. Next, Henry. Pode passar mais So now check the best alternative according to the text. This one we're going to type in for then easy to read, okay? Whether it's A or B. Number 2.1. What does Daniel mean by an organization established for women or women's rights but run and controlled by men? A, one can only understand and support others' needs when one faces the same needs, or solidarity is enough to help disabled people. A or B? It's actually easy. A or B? For exercise 2, number 1, would you say he's saying A or B? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No one, come on, A or B, it's so easy. What does he say? That one can only understand and support others' needs when one faces the same needs, or solidarity is enough to help disabled people. Letter A, okay? He's saying that people can only understand and support the needs. Yay! Okay, thank you, Denise. Hey, you guys rule. I knew I could count on you. 2.2. According to Carlos Green's opinion, we can infer that society limits the empowerment of disabled people. Society offers disabled people every resource to develop their capacities. 2, A or B? I love this word, empowerment. It's so updated, right? So up to date. Number 2, A or B? Society limits the empowerment, or society offers every resource to develop their capacities? A or B? Do you guys remember this? When you played hide and seek, did you have this to do? When time was running out? I always found this so unfair because you do this at the speed you want, right? A or B for number 2? Come on. God B, I'm counting on you. Inez, I'm counting on you. A or B for number 2? A or B? According to Carlos Green's opinion, we can infer that. I'm going to answer to speed it up. Society A or B? A, very good. Society limits the empowerment of disabled people. Let's do this. I'm going to read 3 and 4, and you can answer them both in a row, okay? So as you answer now, answer 3 and 4. Sure.
Lauren, Vinícius, Inês, Ives, Lorena, Inês, eles estão participando bem legal.
Okay, perfect. So, 2.3, Mercosa agreed with Carlos Green's point of view because there are many unemployed disabled people in the U.S. It reflects the reality of disabled people. So this is 2.3, okay? Mercosa, what is the issue that Mercosa agrees with Carlos Green? Is it that there are many unemployed disabled people in the U.S., or is it that it reflects the reality of disabled people? And 2.4, after reading the text, we can infer that. Sorry. Okay. I swallowed it wrong, okay? 2.4, after the answer number 3, A, B, perfect, that's it, 3 is B. It reflects the reality of disabled people, awesome. And 4, after reading the text, we can infer that some organizations are very important to minorities because they represent the minorities' rights and demands, or minorities don't need organizations to represent them at all. Minorities don't need organizations, or some organizations are very important to minorities because they represent the minorities' rights and demands. A or B? To wrap this up and to go to our vocabulary exercise. A or B? I'm waiting. I know you guys are going to answer. I believe you. Okay, sure. Okay, sure. I'm waiting. I'm okay. That's it. Wait a minute. Uh-huh. Yes, sure. A or B for number 4?
Ives, A.
Perfect. Thank you, Eves. That's it. Letter A. They need organizations, right? And some organizations do represent their rights and demands. Perfect. Henrique, next. I feel like Henrique is tired today. Okay. So now this is one of those activities that the book brings, that they bring some material in Portuguese. So it's more for you guys to think about the topic. Nowadays, it's important to be prepared for different topics, because when you take MA, it can cover pretty much lots of topics, and it's important to be aware, right? But the fact that it is in Portuguese makes it less interesting for us. So I'm going to try to give you an overall in English about the topic, but then we're going to move on, okay? So it mentions a federal law here from Brazil from the year 1991. And later on in 1999, they really regulated what they had promised, because it is common, right? You have a law that says what has to happen, and then a second one or a further one that really describes how that is going to happen, right? So it determines that every company with over 100 employees is obligated to have a 2 to 5% of openings for people who have disabilities or that have been rehabilitated, right? So from 100 to 200 employees, it should be 2%. From 200 to 500 employees, it should be 3%. From 501 to 1,000 employees, 4%. And from 1,001 on, it should be 5% of people that present some kind of disability. Okay? So we're not going to go through with this. It's just important to consider that there is this regulation and that there is an effort to make sure that these people have job opportunities and job openings, right? Okay. This is more to encourage society to open the space, right? Okay. Henry, next. So now let's check on the vocabulary. I'm going to go... I'm not going to wait for you guys on the answers because we have a delay, okay? But we're going to go through, and then if you have any questions or a word you don't understand, please let me know, and then Denise is going to let me know, and then we can discuss it, okay? So, 1, check the meaning of the words in bold. We can fend for ourselves. Come on, we're talking about the disabled and the fact that they want to be represented by their equals. So we can fend for ourselves mean we can surrender. No, do you understand what surrender means? When you give up and you give yourself to the enemy, like in a war, right? I surrender. Here's my white flag. Give up, to quit? No. The only one that works is letter C, defend. To fend for ourselves is to defend ourselves. 1.2, Daniel's comments echoed those of representatives of other organizations. Means to echo comes from echo itself, right? When I say it, it goes on and on and on and on, right? When you are in an empty space. When we go bike riding in the city, and then we go on under those tunnels that now we have many in Fortaleza, right? So you go inside those tunnels and you scream. Not that I do that. It's just hypothetical. It's in a hypothetical situation. I never did that. But then you're riding your bike and you go through the tunnel and you scream, and then it echoes, right? You can hear it. Sorry about that. Anyway, so to echo means that these comments were repeated. The other options, deferred and opposed, they are wrong. The fact that his comments echoed means that the other representatives repeated, agreed with what he had said. Okay? 3, an organization established for women or women's rights, but run and controlled by men. The word there that he wants is the word run. An organization that is run and controlled by man. What does run mean? Managed, okay? To run a company is to manage a company, is to be responsible, to make the decisions. The person who runs, I don't know, Natura is the person who is responsible for managing it, for really organizing it, like the president of the company runs it, okay? And finally, 1.4, I was made to believe by the wider society that. Pay attention that here the idea is on this verb made. I was made to believe. It's not I believed, it's I was made to believe. So this made means discouraged, induced, or built. The idea is of being induced. I was made to do something, I was induced. People gave me the idea that I should do that, so I was made to do it. Okay? It wasn't really my decision. I was convinced, I was induced. Okay? Harry, next. So read the sentence below, which has been extracted from the text. Sure. Ok. Henrique, tu pode voltar slide? Number 2, Daniel's comments echoed is repeated. Okay? Repeated. When he says that his comments echoed those of representative, is that his comment gave echo. So his comments repeated the comment from other representatives. Okay? As an echo. You say, and then I say, and then someone else says. Okay? Okay? Harry, next. So anyway, read this sentence below, which has been extracted from the text, and pay special attention to the expression in bold. But all were operated and managed by able-bodied people. The expression able-bodied. Pay attention. At first, you would have a sentence that would say that a person has a body that is able. A person has an able body, right? Okay, so an able body, a body as a noun, and the expression an able would just give a characteristic to the body. But it's very common in English to change this noun and adjective combination and make it into an adjective. That's what happens there. Instead of saying, all were operated and managed by people with an able body, they transform this able body into an adjective by saying able-bodied people. Do you understand? One example, I can say, there is a girl that goes to my class, and she is 15 years old. I can say, a 15-year-old girl goes to my class. So I change the expression that describes her age into an adjective that comes before the noun, right? A 2-year-old boy. Not a 2-year-old boy. The boy is 2 years old. But if I change it into an adjective, I just say a 2-year-old boy. Okay? So an able-bodied person. Another example, I have a friend who has blue eyes. So my blue-eyed friend, it becomes an adjective. So this is very common in English, right? To get an expression that you would use after the noun to give a description of the noun and then turn it into an ed adjective, like the able-bodied example. Okay? So let's read it. Able-bodied is a compound adjective. That is, a combination of words that works as a single adjective. And attention to this word. Repeat after me. Adjective. Adjective. Emphasize add. Adjective. It's not adjective. It's adjective. Okay? So anyway, that works as a single adjective. As a general rule, compound adjectives are hyphenated when they come before nouns. How do you form a compound adjective? Here are some examples. You have a noun plus a past participle, a handmade toy. A toy that's made by hand is a handmade toy, okay? Noun plus a participle in ing, a heartbreaking story. Now pay attention, and I think we have discussed this before, but I'm not sure. When you have an adjective that ends in ing, the idea is that it produces that feeling. It produces that result. So an interesting story is a story that makes you interested, right? A boring movie is a movie that makes you bored. So it produces that result. And the past participle word represents, the past participle adjective represents the result, right? So I watched any interest, I'm not in this scenario, but I heard a heartbreaking story. I became heartbroken. So you can have the ing and you can have the past participle. The difference is the characteristic represents the process, or the characteristic represents the result. So a handmade toy represents the result, right? How was this toy made? It was handmade, okay? And the heartbreaking story is the story, the process that produces the result of being interested. I am interested because you are telling me an interesting story, okay? So anyway, you can have the adjective plus a noun and ed. An able-bodied person. It's like you are turning the noun body into a verb in the past participle. So it's an able-bodied person, okay? A blue-eyed girl. And an adverb plus a past participle. Strongly built. A person that has a strong structure, it's a strongly built person. Okay? So these are the compound adjectives. Sure?
Ives, isso é como se fosse uma locução verbal?
If you are using it before producing the adjective, it could be. Yes, like if I were saying, he is strongly built, okay? But when I'm using here, I'm focusing on the adjective. So we call it adjetivo composto. It's a compound adjective. But yes, it does resemble the way we form. In many cases, it represents, it looks like locução verbal, but you are using it as an adjective. So you do change it in order to turn it into an adjective. That's why you focus on past participles and on present participles, okay? Okay? And not always you are going to have a verb. You see that the final one, the strongly built, you do have a verb. But handmade, you do have a verb. But in able-bodied, you don't even have a verb. You have a noun. But you change the noun to the structure of a verb. Right? To say that the person has a body that's able. You say she is an able-bodied person. Like body as a verb, which it really isn't. And then you turn it into an adjective. Okay, Iris? I hope I have answered. Henrique, next. It's amazing how time flies, guys, when we're together. So anyway, now add the words in the box to the words below to form compound adjectives that describe people. Then translate the adjectives formed. Because we don't have much time, we're going to do it together, okay? So we have blue, left, level, middle, soft, strong, thick, and tone. The first one is middle-aged. A person that is around my age, around halfway through life, we call that person middle-aged, right? In Portuguese, the adjective would be de meia idade. okay? In English, you say middle-aged. So the middle-aged woman, okay? Deaf. Remember deaf? Deaf is a person who can't hear. And then we say tone deaf. A person who is tone deaf is a person who's not good at recognizing what? At recognizing tones. Like if I say, give me a minor do, and then you'll be like, I don't know. So that's it, tone deaf. Hearted. You have a person who is soft-hearted, that has a soft heart. Okay? A person who has a good heart. Coração de manteiga kind of thing. Headed. You have a person who is thick-headed. It can be strong-headed. It can be... There are options there, but we're going to see the ones intended by the book, okay? Handed. You have a person who is right-handed and a person who is left-handed. Skinned. A person who is thick-skinned. A person who isn't really sensible. A person who isn't really hurt by small things. They are thick-skinned, okay? Willed. You have a person who is strong-willed. You know what will is? Will is the auxiliary for the future, true, but will is also wanting. What you want to do. You have the will to do. Okay? You have the power, the wish to do. So you have a person who is strongly willed. Strong-willed is a person who really does what they wanted. They are determined. And then you have blue-eyed, which is a person that has blue eyes, okay? So there we have soft-hearted, and then we have level-headed. Level-headed is the expression we were looking for. Level-headed is a person that's balanced, a person that makes good decisions. Okay? Let's see the answers. Please, Henrique, go next. Passa mais um aí. So we have there middle-aged, de meia idade. Tone deaf, desafinado, a person that doesn't recognize the tones, right? Soft-hearted, like I told you, manteiga, right? Level-headed, balance, a person that makes good decisions. Left-handed, that writes with the left hand. Thick-skinned, a person that's not really sensitive, that doesn't really hurt easily. Strong-willed, a person that is determined. What does it say there? Obstinado. And blue-eyed, a person with blue eyes. Okay? Those are all compound adjectives. Some of them are related to verbs, like willed. Okay? There is will. And most of them are related to nouns, right? Heart is a noun. You have hearted. If heart would be a verb, you would put ed to have a past participle, and that's what you do. Okay? Could you guys understand? Okay. Hey, Harry, just one more. Because we're all out of time, the next exercise is going to be homework. Choose 3 compound adjectives from exercise 2 and write true sentences about you, your friends, or your family members. And next class, we are going to use Vucaru, and you guys are going to read your sentences. So have your sentences prepared. To wrap it up, last thing, I promise. Henrique, tu pode só voltar naquela tela do Padlet para a gente ver as respostas, as 25 respostas que eu recebi. I have 4. It wasn't 5, but I have 4. So I'm going to read it, okay? Thank you very much for you guys who took the time to answer it and to give your opinion. I don't think anyone without the characteristic of the group can represent a community. I believe that representation is needed, that would lead a minority to actually have a place to speak. Fantastic. Next, it depends. I think it's important for an organization's representativeness that the leader of it be someone compatible with what the organization defends, wants, transmits. But if the physical representativeness is not important, the heart, it's enough. So basically, yes, but it is relative. You guys rock my world. Next, I don't think that any person can represent a minority community, so representative is important. And finally, and in yellow, I think anyone with his or her heart on the right place can represent a group, although a person from the group itself has a more direct impact. But not being a part of the group doesn't mean you don't identify with the cause for one reason or the other. So basically, if you really care about a cause, even though you're not affected by it directly, you may run it. You guys, we have 3 different opinions. We have 4 opinions, 3 different ones, like each one pointing to one direction, right? It's not possible. It depends, and it is possible. And you all were fantastic on your answers. Thank you for doing it. I hope next time more people do it. Thank you guys very much. We're out of time. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy your Father's Day. Enjoy your Students' Day. And I'll see you again next Friday. Bye-bye.